Hello to everybody. In this particular video, we will be studying about something called a serializable schedule. Okay, so just to revise what we have done previously, we have seen all the types of schedule, and in this one, we will see a different schedule that is referred to as serializable schedule. Okay, so now, how many schedules have we seen? So I'll just revise it very quickly. So we have already seen that there are two types of schedule. First one is referred to as a serializable schedule, and the next one is referred to as a non-serializable schedule. Okay, so I'll tell you a little bit about a serializable schedule. So you already know that a non-serial transaction, that is the transaction, that is the schedule which is not interleaved in between, will always produce the correct result. Okay, so we always want that. Okay, because the output of non-serializable schedule is always correct. Sorry, the output of non-serializable schedule is always correct. So we want our schedules to be serializable uh, because we want some concurrent transactions. Okay, so these are not concurrent transactions. So we want our particular schedules to be serializable, but it should produce the same result as produced by a non-serializable schedule. If we are able to do that, it means our serializable is complete. Okay, so serializable, it's again, this non-serial schedule is always already divided into two parts. First one is referred to as a recoverable schedule. Another one is referred to as a non-recoverable. I think we have already seen what are recoverable and non-recoverable schedule. Okay, so you always want to focus on the recoverable schedule because we want recoverable schedule that we, if there is any kind of transaction that is rolled back, so we will be able to get the values back. If we are not able to get that is a whole lot of issue that will cause in the system. Okay, so again, the recoverable schedules are again divided into two parts. First one, you already know that because of recoverable, there are something called uh, cascading rollback that happens. Another one is that cascadeless. Okay, so we have seen that how to convert a recoverable schedule to a cascadeless schedule. You just have to do one or two steps. Again, we have seen that cascadeless again can be divided into two parts. First one is a strict schedule. Another one is a non-strict. Okay. So all the definitions have already seen in the previous video. So if you do not know what is that, just refer to the previous video. Okay. So serializable schedule are always referred to as a strict schedule. Okay, so if they are strict, you already know they are recoverable as well as cascadeless as well. Okay, so if you remember the definition or the diagram that we have seen earlier, that was if a schedule is strict, every schedule that is strict uh, is a cascadeless schedule, and a recoverable schedule. Okay, so all these types of things that we have seen, we want this to be all these things, we want this in a non-serial schedule. I think I made a mistake here in the starting. Sorry, it's I think it's correct. Okay, so everything we want here is in non-serial schedule, because in the non-serial schedule our transaction may be interleaved in between. I think I have mixed the definition here. So in serializable schedule, the this is not non-concurrent. Okay, so this is not concurrent, but in non-serial schedule it is concurrent. Okay, so non-serial means that it is not serially following first transaction to be completed and then move on towards another one. So I just mix up the definition. Okay, so the serial schedule will always be non-current and non-concurrent. So if there is no interleaving in between, that schedule will always be a strict schedule. Okay, so because it will never face any problem, because when one schedule is being completed fully, only then we will move on towards the another transaction in a schedule. Okay, so by definition it is strict here because you already know in a strict schedule you are supposed to read or write from another transaction, and that transaction has to have a commit statement. Only then you can do that. Okay, so serializable will always follow that because it is a non-concurrent schedule part. Okay, so now moving on to the most important part is a serializable schedule. Serializable schedule. Okay, so I'm just writing some definitions here because it's very important part of EVM. So serializable schedule is very important topic here. Okay, so that is why I'm writing some of the definitions. Okay, so a transaction is serializable. A transaction is serializable. So we want that uh, what we are doing in serializable, what is the output of a serializable? We want to replicate that output in a non-serial schedule, the final output. Okay, so if its outcome, sorry, is equal to the outcome, is equal to the outcome of its transactions executed serially. Okay, what is that? A transaction is serializable if its outcome is equal to the outcome of a transaction that is executed serially. Serializable schedule is that we have to find some non-serial transaction that produces the same final output as a serial transaction. So this is the main particular task of it. Okay, so that particular schedule will be referred to as a serializable schedule. So what is meaning of it? So there is a schedule S1, there is a schedule S2. S1 is a serial schedule, S2 is a non-serial schedule. Okay. So what is the definition here? Definition says that whatever outcome that is being produced by a serial schedule, we want the same outcome in a non-serial schedule. If we are able to do that, then S2 will be referred to as a serializable schedule. Okay. So this is the definition says. Okay. So how can you achieve it? It can be achieved in three ways. First is the result equivalent schedules. You have to do result equivalent schedules, conflict equivalent. So I'll go in each particular thing one by one. Okay. So conflict equivalent schedule or conflict serialization. This is also referred to as this. Again, it's one of the most important topic. Conflict serializability. Well, everything is very similar. The definition is replicated throughout here. I'll tell you one by one. Okay. Another is your view equivalent or view serializability part. Okay. So view equivalent schedule or view serializability. View serializability. Okay. So one and the same. So serializability, wherever you see the word serializability, it means that you have to produce a non-serial schedule that is equivalent to a serial schedule in some way. Okay. So in this particular thing, it has the way is the result. Okay. In another way, the way is here conflict. Here the way is view. Okay, so it means that what do I mean by this conflict serializability? That you have to get a non-serial schedule. You have to get a non-serial schedule that produce the same conflict as a serial schedule. Okay, so this is what the definition says. So just remember the definition of a serializability, that you have to find a non-serial schedule in terms of what a particular definition is asking. So in this case, it is conflict serializability. So it is talking about the equivalence of a conflict. In here, this is resulting serializability. You can also say result equivalent or result serializability. So it's talking about the result in this case. Okay. So I'll tell you one by one. I'll give you an example of serializability. Suppose there are two transactions A1, A2, and then there are two operations T1, T2, B1, B2. Okay. So schedule one, any schedule can follow. So I'll just giving you the same thing here. I just want to tell you that how exactly what is the meaning of the serializability. Okay. So suppose there is a schedule one, and schedule one is following order A1, A2, and then it is following B1. Okay, it's a serial schedule. You already have. Now another one will be A1, B2, sorry, B1, B2. B1, B2 and A1, A2. Again, S2 is a serial schedule because the transactions are not interlinked in between. Another one will be B1, A1, A2, B2. Okay, so this is it. So, what is the meaning of serializability property here? So, I'll say that S3 is called serializable. S3 will be called serializable if it is equivalent to either S1 equivalent S2. Okay, so what's been the definition that you have to find the transaction? That is a non-serial one. So non-serial transaction will always be referred to as a serializable if it is satisfies the condition that it produces the same effect as it is produced by the serial transactions. Okay. So now we are talking about the first thing, that is result equivalent or result serializability. So what is the result equivalent schedule? So these schedules are a part of serializable schedule. So there are three types of serializable schedules. First one is result equivalent schedule. Okay. Again, the definition follow the same. It's also referred to as serializable. So same thing. Okay. So two schedules S1 and S2. Suppose there are two schedules. They're set to be result equivalent if they produce the same result in that. Okay, but keep that in mind, either S1 has to be a non-serial or S2 has to be non-serial. So it means that one of this has to be a serial transaction, then another has to be a non-serial transaction. If non-serial transaction is able to present the same result as the serial transaction, then we can say that result equal. Okay, so I'll give you an example. Here. This is schedule one S1. This is schedule transactions. Okay. So schedule contains lot of transaction, and transaction is simply that we are going to do operations on the database. Okay. So this is a transaction Rx x equal to some state right of x right like that. Similarly, moving on to another transaction, that is x. Really, you can clear it because we believe the transaction is complete and we are moving towards the transaction T2. Okay. Similarly, check for schedule. So it has to be okay. So only then I can put the same transaction. X to 5. Now checking the transaction. Wait for a second. Okay. So I think my one or just got crashed. Just wait for a second here. Mm, just starting.